like to tell very intimate stories. If you followed my work, or anybody who has worked with me, I like really intimate, keep it compact, and draw out from every single one. So let's start from the very beginning of how do you then find the story? The stories are all around us, really. We just need to open our eyes. In this gathering, I'm looking at everyone. I'm looking at what you're wearing. I'm looking at your physique. I'm looking at how you're talking. I'm looking at your personality. I am banking it for creating a character one day. So one day I'm going to say, a hot girl that looks like Constance Kelly, that everybody's heart stopped, you know. And there was one man that dressed in purple. I'm saying to you that all of this is an experience. I am seeing it. What do you see when you stand at the bus stop? What do you see when you're in front of your house? What do you see when you go to the hospital? What do you see when you go to the police station? Are you walking through, or you are experiencing as you're going? That is how I write. Everything is valuable. Everything I see is valuable because there just might be a story, a character, anything. So everything that we see. So what do you see when you are in traffic? You hate the traffic, but as a creator, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? I was in traffic one day, and I was just imagining that the bridge fell apart. My kids were in the car. So I started thinking, who will I save? I'm not a strong swimmer. Is it the big one? Is it the small one? And I began to panic because this is me scary, but do you understand that this is the moment, because just the bridge shook. So what do you see at every time? Every time you are standing anywhere, you're going anywhere, in school, in class, at the booker, what do you see? What do you see when you are surfing through the internet, looking through Instagram? Because the story is everywhere, really. We just need to see it. What you're seeing also then forms how you write. Dialogues, what do you hear? That is how we form dialogues. What do you hear? After saying, what do you hear? Oh, are you listening? Are you at the hospital and you are really, do you know hospital waiting room are the worst places? If you go to, it's not like when you go to Herbert Care. If you go to Motalani Hospital, maybe Salu, where there is plenty of people. That's where you now. But we are plenty there. Like 15, 20 people, you will be there. What are you hearing at those times when you're sitting down? Amazing conversations between the nurses. Amazing. They are saying things. I write down, I record a lot. Because somebody can say a slang. Somebody can just concoct one thing. This almost sound nice. If I put it, sorry, I will speak small if I say this my thing. You know, to sound nice. So what are you listening to when you are at the hospital? Fed up. Many times as writers, this is what we are doing. You're not experiencing. You're not experiencing the world around you. Because as a writer, you need, as a creator, as a storyteller, you are constantly looking for the story. People ask me, oh, what inspires you? Everything inspires me. Everything. I don't take anything for granted. Hear a language, hear a story, hear a name. I'm very, very big on names. If you tell me one fine name, I've written it down. I'm gonna use it in the film. Because everything makes the story. The name makes the story. The music makes the story. The picture makes the story. Everything makes the story. If I listen to music, I mean, if you follow my work, you know that music is a huge part of my work. I love to listen. Sometimes I listen to music and the picture of the scene is clearer. So what are you hearing? Sometimes as a writer, there are times when you have writer's block, writer's drought. You cannot even, I remember that I wrote a story for years. And there's a story I've been writing now. I know the whole story. I know it. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I'm in Act 1 for the past 3 years. Yes. I used to connect Act 1 to Act 2. So I'm looking for the connectors. I want to believe my dialogue. Maybe because I'm an actor, so when I'm writing, I'm acting it the way you think that I'm crazy when I'm writing, because I'm talking and as I'm writing, so I know where to put the pauses, I know where to put the side, the is, because I am living it. And when I'm writing something emotional, I believe because I'm crying as I'm saying those lines. So I know that except you don't want to do the thing where you don't go cry when you are, because that was how I was feeling. So I am pouring me into the whole film. We need as storytellers to create something that we first believe in. So whatever you are writing, you need to first believe. Sometimes it's very good for the story to form. In fact, many times you have an idea. You think, baddest, it's back cooking it, not bad. Then we'll take. That's where you will be. Fantastic idea, but it's going nowhere. Because sometimes one idea, another idea, you put it together, but at that point you are thinking that that idea is enough. Sometimes you have just a sentence and then the story happens. I'll give an example. We've not finished our 5 senses, we're going to go back. When I was writing Picture Perfect, I'll start with The Visit. The Visit was purely based from, okay, I'm coming from film school. There is no money, but I have to shoot something so they can see when we do go to school. One location, I can rustle that one. I can rustle it. I can find somebody's house to use. 4 people, 2 husbands, 2 wives. Okay, we can manage it. That was literally, it was based on xoxo, but we have to do things to show that we do go to school. So that was how we started. Okay, so I understand it now. 1 house, 4 people. What's going to happen there? How are we going to take this idea? Because it sounded very great. So when I was having the idea, communication, 4 people, keep it simple, blow their mind. Okay, how am I going to blow? What am I going to say inside the story? What is, and then that was how, started thinking, okay, perfect, imperfect, lies. Okay, so it's like building a house, foundation block. Okay, so now we have put foundation, block, cement, window, door, and every time, and many times you will go back to the foundation, because when you're about to put the window, you realize, this window, this door, this window, the foundation cannot carry this, so you go back again and restructure. Sometimes you even discard. I don't know how many of us have discarded the film halfway. You are looking at the end and you say, I'm not doing it. It's not, because it's not gelling. Then you discard or you leave it. Then sometimes you go and then you merge it with another story, and then it kind of comes together. And that was literally how, when I had the idea for The Visit. Let us all sit down now as a group and rewrite the whole film. Make it better, make it stronger. My strategy for The Visit, some of the things I talked about was, I was married at that time. The other people that were married on the team. Let us put a bit of our struggle inside it. A bit of our truth. Again, maybe because I was coming from a radio show that I did for 4 years that talked about human life experiences. And I'm a very firm believer in unburdening. Anything you're going through is for a reason. And I feel like everything I passed through was for a reason. And so I take all of those pains, all of those, and then I find a way to insert it into the story. And that was really how The Visit came to be. Same thing, picture perfect. My tailor, fantastic girl, very, what's that word?
Sophisticated.
Very, yeah. And I say, Marion, when you go marry, the person who go marry, you go try, you go have money, and we used to joke. I'm like, when I'm ready, and then I just looked at that, maybe just come say, I don't get money for area boy. Literally, I looked at her, I imagined this scenario, and I said, okay, this is a story now. So I modeled my character, could be exactly after, what's her name? Mariam. But then the area boy, because my mother had a shop in Agege Market for about 11 years, area boy is very sure you don't go hard like that. You just go. I just look for, I know one person, just, okay, and I just kind of just model it. And eventually that. But again, this is me just molding. Because when you first write, you need to leave it for some time. Then go back and read it again with fresh eye. Then you now begin to see all the holes. This can never happen in this life. This cannot work. This is not. Because many times, when people ask me, oh, how fast do you write? Oh, I can write in a day. I've written many times in a day. But I have not come to that story in a day. I've come to that story it take me months to build. But when I want to sit down to write, then I write. But then I then leave it for a really, really long time. Come back, reread. I'm doing a film now, March 28th. I'm on the 7th draft. But I wrote it in a day. So for me, it's, let me vomit all that I know about this story. Then we'll now start rereading. And because as much as you read, and as much, again, because I'm also a producer. So as many times as I read, I see, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Which is where we'll at some point come to the business, making your storytelling the business. Characters. Why are the characters memorable? Why do you think, if anybody has seen my film, why do you think the characters when you watch my films, why do you think that they're memorable?
The comic relief.
Because they're relatable. Because you are not creating this character out of space. You are not, if you don't live in, a lot of us don't live in Ikoyi. A lot of us are not rich. So one of the things I started doing was I needed to create a character that when you step out of your balcony, you will see the person. Maybe copy that kind of money. Even me, I've not experienced that money. I didn't, not many of us have that kind of super rich friends that when you see their struggle, you can relate. The struggle is like, I want a pink Lamborghini or a red. Hey, do you even have a car to start with? Why is it you're choosing between pink and red Lamborghini? Long. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the first thing was, when I started writing commercially, it was I needed to make the stories as relatable as possible. I needed my story to first also speak another person's truth. Somebody's truth. Always somebody's truth. Even if I went to write about romance, like we did in Tiwa's Baggage, it was about the struggle of a single mom. Single moms exist. Many of them, and they are struggling to, find that emotional succor again. Difficult to trust. These are the travails of existing human being. And again, I also draw for myself. I was raised by a single mom. So, and I knew how it was for her finding love. My child. That will she, that struggle. So again, I had to draw from the source. If anyone has seen Sugar Chops, a little bit of it I put on YouTube. It's about me and my mother, as I showed you my baby when I was a teenager. That is just me saying that I like to take a fraction of, because you need to first find it from here. The story is here, it's you, it's around you, it's inside of you. Just make it relatable. And I like to tell human angle stories many times, because you see, the most successful shows in this life. You remember Charles B, who listens to radio? Charles B. That show had the highest listenership.
If each one could reach one.
Yes, had the highest listenership. Faye Kogbo. You see anything and incumbent. Yes, incumbent. I don't know if you know incumbent. Incumbent. These are just 3 things that I'm telling you that. But do you know how many people run home to people's window to go and watch incumbent? How many people run home to watch Faye Kogbo? How many people don't miss every day tuning to Charles B at 8 o'clock on Inspiration FM? Because everybody wants to hear what the next person is going through. Not because they want to say, thank God I'm not going through it. But they want to say, oh, I'm not alone. That's what I thought your story must do many times. I'm not saying that your story must be inspirational. I'm just saying that these are where you must draw from, making it relatable. So that people can see a mirror. Okay, I'm not going through this alone. I'm not alone. Okay, this is how they dealt with this thing, Abi. Maybe I should deal with my own like this. When I wrote Ovi's Voice, it was basically to talk about child molestation. It happens a lot. We don't talk about it. We don't even discuss it. About the power of silence. Silence, literally being physically silent and telling a child to be silent. A mother telling a child, telling her, I've been raped by my father. Saying, shh, don't tell anybody. Don't say that outside. Be silent. And so that was what we wanted to do with Ovi's Voice. It was not so much about, I do like love. But then, the love in there was about healing. Because many times we go through pain in our life that stunts us from growing. That stunts us from becoming who we are. I have a sister who went through a very traumatic time. And I saw how she dwindled from being very vivacious and, outgoing to being a total reckless, unfriendly. But the moment she was able to leave that environment, to go somewhere else, she blossomed. That journey, watching my sister go through that for me is a story that I want to tell. Just removing yourself from an environment that reminds you of a pain, and then you're somewhere else and you're like, this is fresh start. So many times, with Ovi's Voice, it was just me. The love was okay, not so much about the romantic love, but first finding somebody who was willing to listen. Because if a man was not willing to listen, if he had, my God, you lied to me, and he just walked out, she would be forever silent again. But he was willing to listen. Okay, this girl was raped. She will not talk. Then she will meet somebody, and then they will fall in love, and then she will speak. And then it will change the dynamics. That's just pointers, legit pointers. But how does that story travel? How does she meet this guy? How can we make it interesting? How can we make it interesting? Okay. She needs an occupation. What I was trying to do there is, whether you are mute, whether you're handicapped, you need to have a job. For every time you tell a story, there's an opportunity to highlight something. She was a makeup artist. Jobe was a carpenter. Kumbi was a tailor. Lolu was a teacher. They were not always bankers, which is what we have. There are so many other things that you can highlight and use those. Every decision you make as a storyteller to building a character is very important too. What does this person like? What do they do? Because when you create this, when you mold this character, it also even helps your storytelling. Writers, we have a mission, we have an opportunity to speak our mind, to air our opinion on so many things. For a reason. Either so I can take that feeling and put it If you watch it, in that scene where AJ was walking out of her father's office, struggling not to cry because she has to do tough gear, but you can see her trembling. You are on that journey with her automatically. Or that end bit when she says, "Can I now call you Bami?" Because that was what she just wanted, somebody to call daddy. And that's the case of so many people around us. Just taking that, something that we take so lightly, so fickle. Imagine when you are not wanted by somebody who you know birthed you, and you are now asking for permission. You know these things, maybe now that I'm saying it, don't punchy, don't sound like, don't resonate, it's not sounding like a big deal, but how many of us always see it as a big deal? Just, you know, it's not a big deal when you don't eat lunch. Because you can eat lunch, you are just choosing not to eat lunch.
Yeah.
But it's a big deal when you don't even have lunch in view. So how are we saying this? How are we saying Mofeje rice? And now we say, tobacco rice. Mofeje rice is different. I want to eat rice. If I can just get rice, imagine the things that follow. You'll be saving my life. You will be helping me. I will not die of starvation. Do you understand? How are we even writing these dialogues? To make it really resonate, so that the weight is not lost. Because Nigerians don't have patience when they are watching film. They didn't do have patience.
They didn't do.
There are many Nigerians are telling the end of the film from scene 1. So I don't promise you anything. Can you wait? Can you wait and enjoy the film? So even when I'm writing a script, and which I'll also tell us here, sometimes we have to write the script that the person that is reading it cannot wait to get to the end. How many people have seen Ehi's Bitters? Wow, you have seen all my film now. Auntie, I'm quite impressed. With Ehi's Bitters, there were 2 story timelines. If you don't have patience,
You don't get it.
you will not get it. But it was the same people's story, just 2 different timelines. Or the worst kind of flashback. I'm telling you, you are telling my flashback. Inside my flashback.
Show my
flashback is inside. How do you do that? Jonas, how do I know that when I walked out of the room, she came in and took my food? But as writer, let me write 2 parallel stories going side by side, but you will connect it at a point. So even when I remember when I sent the script to Emi and then Emi was reading it, he said, "Call me." People is okay. So he's going to marry Jay because there was a young boy and there was a young girl. So okay, she's going to marry the boy, Abby. Okay. Motin get it. I said, "Emi, can you please finish reading the script?" Then he calls me. Oh my God! It was their same people's story that you're watching parallel, but we plotted things in the flash. December, I wrote Breaded Life. Then it was called Sumi's Day Man. What a name! What a title! Title another issue to title your film. Very tough work. When I want to say, why do you use names? I think it was the easiest thing to do. Obi's voice, Eddie's bitter, Sobi's mistake. Because it was the title.
Honestly, Sobi's mistake.
It was difficult to find, because titling is also very key. And I'll raise it to Breaded Life. Because if I say Sumi's Day Man, okay, everybody will know that it's a story about Sumi and his daydreaming. No. How do we do this? And when I went to 2017, I think what we shot was maybe the 7th or the 8th draft. Kept on rewriting, adding, taking out, and not looking good. and I were very happy. But when we created the story, okay, you see that bakery? I don't know who saw Bread Life here. The story of the bakery is an amazing story. The bakery exists. Yes. My mother had a shop in Agege Market. One of my very first friends, their father owned that bakery. So we shot in their bakery. Yes. We went back there to shoot in their bakery. So I used to go there to go and collect hot bread as it's coming from the oven. So, and I used to marvel at, if you see that bakery, you don't go chop bread for there, but it's hot. And sweat. That is Agege bread. One of us ate bread to stupor when we were filming. But you see, what was the first idea of the rich kid who just woke up and didn't know him and nobody knew him again? That is the foundation sentence. Oh yeah, how are we gonna get there? We're gonna situate this. Whose story do you want to tell? And that was when we started. Rich kids. My friends in Agege were bakery. When we were younger, they were the happening people. They had money. I wore my first jeans in my life when I was 16. No, I lied. 19. I bought it to Krika. I was so proud of myself. So these girls have been wearing jeans when they were like 14. Because my mother is Mary Amaka. Jeans. They had access to money. They could be anything that they wanted to be. My mother just had a small shop in that market. But I was going to school. My mother died in my year 1, first semester. I could have stopped school, but I kept on going to the help of God. These girls are still running that bakery. That bakery has not changed. If you watch the film, it's the same way. Go to worst. They are still here. They didn't get an education. They were rich. Do you understand? Bread money that time was like oil money. Because bread is still a staple food. Before the advent of when we are wrapping the bread now and we're doing sliced bread, Agege bread was a cheese meat. So they were supplying. They had 3 bakeries. So money was not the problem. Dreaming small was a problem.